Once I had this old car that died on me. Transmission went, but some guy still gave me like $1,000 for it or something. I don't know if it was almost that, but it was it was a Honda, so it was fixable, resellable, I guess. Somehow, it had been a long time since I sold a car, so I took the guy's word for it, and I just gave him the title without whatever it is you're supposed to do. Next thing I know, a couple months later, some guy from across the river who bought my car, and I guess he got snookered because he said the car died on him. And somehow, and because my name was on the title, the guy showed up here, my name and address, right? I never met this guy in my life. Never knew the guy. I didn't even know the guy that bought my car. So now I'm involved, and this guy, Ramon, that I'm just taking a picture of, he's outside. This is like, it's gotta be 5 years ago, but he's outside. It's more like 6 maybe. And I think he was with Glynis, and I don't remember. I was half listening. I wasn't even listening. I was minding my own business, but it was summertime. The windows were open, and you hear, like, this guy drove up in a different car. Obviously, I don't know who he is, and they're talking. So Ramon is making fast friends with this guy, in other words, and he starts telling him about the car problems. I'm like, oh my God, uh-oh. So he starts ringing my bell, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to deal with it, so I didn't answer right away. I did end up talking to the guy, but I just didn't answer right away. And I hear Ramon say, oh, she's up there. And he started to say, I can't remember what he did. Years ago, my mom and her husband had a Kia that they let me use. And when they sold that, this guy wanted to give them like a lousy, it was a good car. I can't remember what it was. I think actually it was a transmission problem too. But the point is, this guy terrorized my mother. This guy that I'm filming here, that everybody thinks is so nice, the unlicensed contractor. And I think he gave like a deposit for the car, like $200, I want to say, I'm not sure. But then he kept it for like a couple weeks, and then all of a sudden he changed his mind or something like that, and it was really questionable. I mean, imagine what you can do with a car for 2 weeks, like change the parts and this and that, get your $200 back, da, 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 da. So I'm not sure how they handled it because I wasn't directly involved, but I just remember Glynis banging on my door saying they were going to call the police. And the guy, Vince, was totally adamant about me having nothing to do with, like, it wasn't my car, like all of that kind of thing. And even though I drove it, whatever. But so then I have Glynis and her boyfriend here, the unlicensed contractor, banging on my door saying, we're going to call the police, and I don't even know the details of what's going on. GCC, that's an interesting license plate. And, yeah, so, I mean, that's one of a million things that those people have done to me. And then they even showed up at my parents' house, and they were like, I mean, my mom is old. He's, like, shaking her down for money. I think she ended up giving him his money back just to, like, leave us alone. And, I don't remember what happened with the car, but it was awful. They don't play fair. And, I mean, Glynis, she's a nurse that sells crack out of the apartment. She's a crackhead. I've known this for years. I felt sorry for her. I thought she's really got to get her shit together. Never told on her, never called the police. I mean, you're talking for like 13 years. I minded my own business, even though she broke down the front door, etc., etc. And I said, I'm not taking it anymore between you and Daniel. He's like physically threatening me. I'm going to call the police. So that was when she put out a knife and everything turned. And then I became the enemy, and she decided to have me committed. And then she organized this little get together outside the door that I recorded, where they say, oh, we should spend 90 days in jail, it'd be worth it just to beat her up. And Glynis is like, can we have her committed? Or Daniel might have said that, can we have her committed? These are felons. These are drug dealing. Like, I laugh when I say drug dealing, because that means so many different things. But I'm talking about, like, just really fucked up street crack people. And heroin. You know, like hardcore drugs. And so the point is, they have the nerve to send a psychiatric crisis team to my door a few days later. Like, they're calling the police, telling the police that I am crazy, and that, you know, and of course the police don't know what to make of it, and just what they have done to me, my reputation, my character, my whole life down the drain. You know, to have my boss say to me in 2007, it sounds like a long time ago, but still, why everybody call the police on you? I did a background check. They say everybody call the police on you. So, I mean, one thing leads to another. This is what people don't get. Even the Bowles, the chubby couple, they find a piece of paper on the floor that says, Dear Students of Christ the King, which was just this sarcastic